Well, welcome to Cedar Creek Range in northeastern Oklahoma, in the beautiful valley in the Ozarks that stretch into Oklahoma. And what I'm making this video for is to show you our new steel gate and sally port that we set up to enter the range. And basically, we did a lot of research on this gate to try to figure out exactly what we were going to do, and spent some time designing it before we started actually buying parts. I did research and decided that of all the gate openers, that the one I'd probably want to try out first would be the Mighty Mule 350. Now the Mighty Mule 350, this one is called the EZ gate, single gate opener. It's solar powered. It's actually 12 volt powered, and it's AC powered as well if you've got AC. We don't have AC out here on the range, so we had to go with solar cells. And it turned out we couldn't just use the one that we bought. It's a 10 watt from Mighty Mule. We had to add to it. I'll tell you how we did that here in just a minute. But if you look at the gate itself, what we did is the sally port in law enforcement is where a police car drives into the jail, and a gate closes behind them, a door closes behind them, so prisoners can't escape. Then you can go to a secondary door and go on in. It's kind of like an airlock on a spaceship. We did the same thing here, except we didn't put anything to keep you in the area. What I did is I wanted to make sure that you could get off the road and out of traffic, then pull up to a keypad or use your remote control that you could buy. The two of them come with the kit, and you can buy the rest of them for a little over 20 bucks a piece. You program them yourself. You program everything here yourself. The instructions tell you how to do that. Fortunately, I have a neighbor who lives right behind me, who uses this road to get down to his house through our pistol and rifle range, and he agreed that it'd be nice to have security since he and his wife are gone the daytime at work, and we don't want strange vehicles coming in around. We have had that happen in the past. So he and his partner came over on a Saturday with their service truck, and they welded up two 20-foot sections of fence. Now these 20-foot sections are made out of 4x4 posts with 2x2 square rails, and they put it at an angle so they look like diamond-shaped rails. It's pretty nice. And then the color matches, the green color matches the roof of the range house and some of the other buildings we have around here. Now the box down here I had already, and it had been out in one of the storage sheds for a long time, but I hate to throw anything away if I think I can use it in the future. It's an electrical terminal box, but it's completely empty, and that's where I ended up mounting the little 12 volt battery that Mighty Mule sells. Now that's a little motorcycle battery, and I really didn't have a lot of faith in that, opening this gate and closing it several times a day on just solar power. So I didn't think it'd recharge that well, so I was right. After we had got everything adjusted, we'd open and close the gate several times, and all of a sudden the battery was dead. I had to pull it out of there, take it back into the shop, put it on the bench, recharge it, and then bring it back out and then continue to work on the gate. I'll show you the solar system in just a minute. The antenna, I just mounted on a piece of round stock and got it up high enough. You got to remember it's VHF, which is line of sight. Now what that means is once it gets the impulse from the remote controller, from the keypad, it sends it to the box, and the range depends on how high the antenna is. And here the antenna, as high as we've got it, we can reach out 200 feet. So as you approach the gate, since it's kind of a slow opening gate, you approach the gate, you can have it open by the time you get here from 200 feet away. And now I position the keypads where you have to stop short of the gate. The keypad on the opposite side, of course, is over there. This is where you come in from the road, stop, push the buttons, the gate opens. The other one is back down where you stop, way short of the gate, and it's on a post down there. We'll look at that in a minute. Now the opener itself is pretty interesting. This is right side up, but when you work on it, you put it back on the gate, you turn it upside down. Underneath that bulge at the bottom are three Phillips, or two Phillips head screws. You take those out, and with this thing upside down, you can see the circuit board, and you can see all the programming functions, switches, and so on. There's a limit switch for the open and close position. There is a switch to set the time, and so on. And you've got your terminal connections in there for your solar cells. You do have to have the solar cell go to this first, and then go back to the battery. That's the way it's wired in. And then you put your automatic gate lock opening mechanism It wires in here as well. Everything wires in here. The thing about it is, and this is very important, when you do this, leave yourself plenty of room and don't shorten your cables too much until you've got your right and left, or actually your open and close limits done and the gate works well. And with the closed position, all the cables still have a little slack in them. And you want them hanging down anyway. It's called a rain loop. You don't want rain following the cables up into the mechanism itself. Now, we got the 14-foot gate, and I got this at a place called Orchland's Farm Supply. I think Atwood's has them, Tractor Supply has them. You can get them just about anywhere, but 14 feet worked for us because we've got an 18-foot wide road. And it's a lightweight gate, so you don't have to have any other suspension for it. Walk over here, we'll look at the locking mechanism, which is very important. With just the opener on this gate, with just the opener, it doesn't secure this end. You've got a stop plate you can set up. It'll touch the gate post and it'll stop right there. But only if you ran this thing with a car, I think it'd tear that thing off the hinges down there. So we went ahead and got this really solid electric lock. And they also send you 2 keys for the key part of it, so you can open up with a key if you have to disconnect the arm. If you have a failure on the opener, you can still get in and out by opening the gate manually that way. Now, this gate, like I said, is it's a pretty slow gate. Now, we're going to open it here in just a second. We'll watch the lock. But before we do that, let's look over here. Because of this pecan tree that is older than the state of Oklahoma, I think they said it was something like 120 feet tall. It was in the way of where we would have put the other post, and I didn't want to hurt any of the roots or anything. So we very carefully dug the hole for the gate post at that end, and we put the gate or the fence in at an angle. And it worked out real well, because that gate gave us a place for people to stop or pull in. If a FedEx truck comes in or something like that, or UPS, they got room. They can make the turn off the road out here and get in the gate just fine. And both of them have been in here, and they said it's no problem at all. And one of the things about these gates is, if it goes to your residence, you need to give the number to your local law enforcement department, fire department, ambulance, and maybe even the mail service if you live out in the country, because they have a tendency to leave packages out on their mailbox, and that's not very secure out there. This is the lock. We're going to open the gate. We're going to watch it open and see how long it takes. Okay. As you can see, it's just a pin. It's got some slack in it that it'll move either direction to lock. The gate opens. And stops. Now that gate will stay stopped for, I tried to set it for 1 minute. It actually will stay stopped for about 58 seconds, and then it'll close again. As long as it's open, let's walk outside and look at the keypad. Okay, this is the one that you get from Mighty Mule, and it takes 3 AAA or AA batteries. It's fully programmable by you. They tell you how to do it in the instructions, and it's done with either numbers, or it's done by a 4-digit or 4-letter word you make up. It can be warm or fall or whatever you want. There's 4 letters. If you want to remember a word instead of a code number, like 5255 or something like that, then oh, by the way, here's the gate closing. Didn't quite get my spiel in out here, did I? But we'll watch it close, and then we'll watch it lock. So it hits pretty good, and it locks pretty good. So back to the keypad. When you program this thing, you have to follow the instructions exactly that come with it. You have to put in the manufacturer's code before you start doing the rest of the steps. So don't skip step 1 and go down and try to just program a number in. It's not going to work. It gets very frustrating. I found out the hard way. I think that Mighty Mule could have had a little bit better instructions in some of the stuff that was supposed to hook up together, instead of going back and forth between different manuals or instruction sheets. But once you kind of scan it and look it all over pretty good, you can pretty well figure it out. We've got a 4-digit code that we put in here, and I picked a 4-letter word that everybody can use and know it doesn't have any profanity. And the reason we've got this out here is so people who don't live here or work on the range that have a remote control in their car, which is like a garage door opener, at least they'll have a way to get in, especially if it's like a fire department emergency or something like that. Now, if we have students out here and we have a class going, we open the gate and we just leave it open and we're out here until they leave, and once the last car leaves, we shut it. We don't give them the codes or anything like that because we don't want them to get out anywhere. There's 25 codes you can put in this thing. You can have them expire at different given times. You can have a code, put it in, and 30 minutes later or 30 days later, have it not work anymore, so that you don't have to worry about the code getting out that you've given to just a small group of people. If they want to come back, they're going to have to get the new code. This is normal practice around here. All right, I'm going to put in the code, but you're not going to see it. Okay, now it's going to open all the way, and it's going to stop, and 58 seconds later, it's going to close. Now, I set the limit on this one so that it was off of the road to give you plenty of room out there. I didn't want anybody inadvertently not paying attention or texting or something as they took off and run into it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go look at the solar systems and show you how we hook that up. But first, I'm going to take you in the range house, and I'm going to show you what I did with a secondary battery that became a necessity out here, and it works really well. This is our range house, Cedar Creek Range. We've got the 3 large panels that open, kind of like a fireworks stand. And then we've got 3 bench rest positions. We've got a right-handed shooter, a right or left-handed shooter, and another right-handed shooter, and that's where we put the semi-auto guys, because when the brass comes out, it hits that wood up there instead of going hitting somebody else. And we've got all of our spotting scopes and ear protection, eye protection, all that sort of thing out here. And of course, first aid kits, and a lot of law enforcement we do out here bring us patches. Some of the military bring us patches, and we put them up when they come out and go through our classes. Okay, what I did is I brought 2 wires in from the solar system and hooked them up to this battery right here. Now, this is your just regular Walmart garden tractor battery, and it does a really good job. You don't have to have a giant car battery or anything like that as long as you get sun most of the year. Now, if you're up north, you might want to get a big 12-volt tractor battery. I don't know. But we get enough sun around here. It's not exactly Arizona, but we have probably 70% of our days we get fairly decent sun that will run the solar cell. And the cells I got, that I added on to this, I already had. We'll go out and look at those. They were on another building. I really wasn't using them for anything anymore since I've got AC electricity out there. So I brought it in here, and this one has a little charge controller. It's that little yellow box. If you're going to get solar cells, make sure you've got a charge controller, because otherwise it's not going to work. And I imagine if you hook it up, you probably blow your cells. This is our range. This is the rifle portion. It's 75 yards down there to the three different rifle targets. And then there's a right-hand berm, and that has 10 pistol positions that go out to 25 yards. And we have shot pistols at 50 yards and 75 yards out here, but that's for our advanced people. This is the solar cell that you get with Mighty Mule, or you have to buy it extra. It's an add-on, and it's a 10-watt solar panel. Okay, and it's not really very big, and I don't know if 10 watts is going to put out enough for both batteries. So what I did is I added these other solar cells on. Now you can get these things. This is 40 watts down here. It gives me a total of 50 watts. You can get these things, fairly reasonable. Harbor Freight's got a 100-watt system for $149, but you can find them on the internet, probably, $50, $80, whatever. This big thing out here, if it's going to be outside, you need to come out every once in a while and clean them off, because the more dust and crud that gets on them, the less efficient they are. But I was lucky I had these 3 and I didn't have to buy any new ones. So that's the solar system. Now we'll go out and look at the other keypad where I put it. And this is my mule here, my little donkey. It's called a Stealth. They don't make these things anymore. I thought I'd throw this in here just for a little public interest. It's four-wheel drive. It's got a winch on the front. It runs off Trojan batteries, and it's almost totally silent. They use them for hunting. It's all-terrain. It's four-wheel drive. It's got the big tires on it. They even do it in the camouflage and all of that sort of stuff. We've got a gun rack on it so we can haul rifles back and forth to their armory. And we've got the back seat actually will fold up to make a seat, or down to make a utility bed. Anyway, it's nice, and we use the heck out of them out here because we're always running around, and you know, after a while you get tired of walking over 3 acres. So when you come down the road to leave, you see this. It's got a reflector on it at nighttime, which goes along with the reflective tape I put on the gate out there. I got 4 bands of reflective tape on the gate for nighttime use, so people don't inadvertently run into it. Because at nighttime it's dark and they're not used to going out a closed gate. They may not see that thing until the last minute. I don't want to tear it up. And it's another keypad just like the other one, programmed exactly the same way. I put it on a steel post and came out and I hand dug the hole myself the other day and put this in. And as you can see, Mayes County, Oklahoma has its share of rocks. I think we're the mother of all rocks out here in this part of the state. We've got seed rocks everywhere, and they grow more rocks. So that's always fun. All right, let's open her one more time and see how she works. Now I'm standing back at the keypad, and there it goes. So that's it from Cedar Creek Range near Locust Grove, Oklahoma. I hope you got something out of this video, and if you're going to buy an electric gate opener, check them all out, but give a good look at the Mighty Mule openers, because we've had no problems with this once we figured out how to work it right. Sayonara.